Hey everybody, this is Silk. We're going to chat a little bit about Operation View to a Kill. This will be my kind of turn 19 sort of review recap kind of thing here. Couple of minor corrections we came up with. This artillery American artillery that had been sitting in Malaya, and I had railed it up here to Hunan. There's actually a bombing damage that had been done that I just wasn't aware of between Anam Tonkin and Kwang Tung. So it actually has to get stopped in Anam Tonkin and does not make it to get to Hunan. We also got to check a sub count. I think there may be one less sub here. There might be one more sub here. I'm not sure. We're still working on that. And I think that's it. Oh, there might be a sub count change in Gibraltar as well. We're going to check on that. All right. So let's chat points wise and what's everybody doing kind of thing. So really interesting turn 19 from a strategic level. The bad guys, as I'm going to kind of call them, simply did not do what I thought they were going to do, and it definitely changed my perspective a little bit. So the game started, of course, 7 Axis, 7 Soviet, 6 Allied, and we played an entire turn, and it's still 7 Axis, 7 Soviet, 6 Allied. And that kind of surprised me on both sides. The fact that they did not attempt to do the fight here in Catalonia did not surprise me. And going from 2 armor to 4 armor, while it seems simple because of the way combat works, turn over turn is a dramatic change to how well the Axis can take Catalonia. They're going to have a much, much better time taking it now than they would have last turn. So them doing not trying to take this main point did not surprise me. Did kind of have a plan in place if we had to deal with that, but again, not a huge surprise. However, I really thought the Soviets were going to come in here, and they didn't. And I kind of want to talk about that a little bit. And some of it's just play style, but also I think it's somewhat kind of a drain your enemies kind of thing. So everything that Global War Enthusiast told you, when he kind of discussed it from his perspective, is entirely spot on. Like, he's just right. A lot of what I had set up here was that if he did come in here and fight for Istanbul, that I would have the transports and the units and the planes and the French units to kind of come in and potentially just take it back, win the fight, and try to hold on to the darn thing. It's way harder to hold on to when there's another 14 mechs coming. But the chances of me taking this back were pretty high, right? Like I did have a battle set up because I'm trying to keep him from scoring points, obviously. I did have it set up that I could take that back and try to win that. And you say, okay, then why would you go? And if you haven't seen my Formosa fight, that's why you go. Like, he would have come in, he would have, kind of as he said, he had whatever it was, something like 11 ground forces. And he loses a couple of them and he wins the fight, yay. And then, I get to start fighting him kind of thing. So let's say he wins it with 11 ground forces and rolls terribly and only takes it with 5 or 6 guys. Well, I could probably beat 5 or 6 guys pretty easily. I had the 6 ground, plus the cab actually. So I had 7 ground coming in and I think 6 planes, right? So I got 13 coming in. So I can beat 6 guys, hopefully, pretty soundly kind of thing. But that's kind of presuming that the deviation goes that way. What if it deviates the other way? What if instead instead of deviating down and he only takes it with 6 guys, what if it deviates up and he takes it with 9 or 10? Now, my 13 can still beat his 10, right? Like, I still have a good chunk of firepower. I have a bunch of planes. But you kind of saw in Formosa when I rolled 5 planes that I got 1 hit. What happens if I roll 6 planes and I only get 2? And then a turn later, I roll 6 planes and only get 2 again. That's how you lose fights, right? Like, it just happens. Well, we've all seen it. I'm fortunately, it happened to me for most of it. But you play enough games and it just happens. It's just the nature of dice games. And you say, well, yeah, but the opposite is also true. Like he could have come in there with his let's say 8 guys, and I attack him, and my 6 planes get 5 hits, and I just vaporize them. Like it deviates up my way, maybe. And instead of me taking the territory, with 7 units, I take it with 5 units. But that's me winning well, is me taking it with 5 units. And then I can add 2 from the French and the 3 bombers. Well, if he's going to take it back with, 13, 15, 17 units, whatever, because I wouldn't have a AAA, so he'd get to bring his planes. Whether I take that with 2 dudes or 7 dudes probably doesn't matter on his turn. And you can kind of say, well, yeah, the net result's the same, but it's not as far as a resource standpoint, because I've basically fired my shot. Like, all of the units that I had there to use for that are gone. My transports are stuck here, so the Germans or the Italians just killed them. I don't ever get to try it again. Like it would have really exhausted my units. Now I had them all there as again, because and here's the other part. If the Soviets come in here, I don't have a choice. It's not a shoulda, coulda, woulda kind of situation. I either retake Istanbul or we lose the game. Like it's sudden death, right? Like there is no, hey, maybe I can make this work. Maybe I'll try to come around. Like it's just a straight up, this is a maneuver you have to do sort of thing. And it's a maneuver I was set up to do. Like I had prepared for it. I had so that made it at least possible. It's going to be impossible now. He's going to take Istanbul with way more than what I can deal with, which is kind of what he's buying for himself. But like the Soviets had a potential window there to just end the game last turn, and I was a little surprised that they didn't take it. Likewise, let's chat a little bit about Japan, because both Hambone and I were surprised about that as well. So it's a little harder because obviously everything's moved and stuff, and the Japanese went all the way up there to Aku and Kiska and took that out. We don't have a whole lot here protecting these 3 islands. And at the time, between the units they had here on Philippines and the Marines they could have brought down, Japan could have taken all three of these islands, I think. And with the Soviets running away from Manchuria, which also surprised me. I thought the Soviets would take Manchuria territory. Because if the Soviets take one Manchuria territory, now Japan has to take it back to make this all work. But they didn't. Japan could have taken these 3 islands, and that's a point for the Axis. And it's the exact same problem. The Allies either take that point away or we lose the game. And you say, well, yeah, but you had stuff. I didn't have a lot of stuff. I had, you saw it when I went into Hong Kong here. I had 1 airborne and 2 planes. That's it. So like even if there was 2 units here on Sumatra, because that's probably where I would have tried to hit. If they get hits, I got to lose planes or I lose the game. Like it's that kind of level of a stress point, right? And dice are dice. Like I might just miss. Maybe my guys miss, he hits, and boom, game over. Like that's it. It really could have been potentially that simple, because the U.S. fleet was at the time kind of further away, and that's why we were trying to bring it down here. And I understand why Bruce did what he did. Like he absolutely, by taking Aku and Kiska, really took the U.S. point kind of off the table. Like we've got to take both Aku and Kiska and Guam back. We had been setting up to take Guam back. But way harder, I guess, would have been, and possibly just game losing to do this. It kind of maintained the status quo of the 776 by keeping our points down, by saying, hey, you guys don't get to score Guam. But if you just, as the Axis, if you just punch through, I just think you punch through and you win the game, kind of thing. Like they don't want it to go any longer than it already is. So let's chat a little bit about what you're going to see here in turn 20. Pretty confident the Axis are going to come for here. They kind of have to. If they don't, they may not get another chance, kind of thing. A huge Atlantic Wall here. They're very good chance they're going to hold the Atlantic Wall. You kind of got to stand still here in Central Europe. Neither force is really messing with either one as far as threatening either Berlin or Romania or Warsaw. So they're kind of comfortable keeping their points there. You're absolutely going to see the Soviets just come in here and just annihilate Istanbul. So I'll take them to 8. Allied-wise, we don't have a whole lot of scoring opportunities here. Malta is still too fortified. There's still this giant fleet here that we have to deal with. Although we are starting to turn over turn, you can kind of see we're nipping at it, kind of trimming it down and whatnot, and you may see some more of that this turn. UK may cause some stress here, but probably not. He's got enough units there that I don't think he's going to have to worry about that. And then, of course, we do have 2 ginormous armies here that when they combine here, that'll cause him some stress too. Way over here, China is certainly kind of the spot where the Allies are trying to put leverage as much, sort of firepower and pain as we can manage. You might see China. He might kind of come back out here, or you'll see instead you're going to see them come in and kind of fortify up and just try to hold on. I think I don't know that you'll see too much else. Like you can't even take that. You can take this pretty easily, obviously. So you could easily see a walk in there. But this is the fun fight. Does Japan decide they want to come into that mess or not? Kind of a choice there. And then the Americans have problems, right? Like we still got to take Guam. We got to take Akko and Kiska. We don't really have the forces to do both, but maybe we'll figure that out. But things are at least looking better here. Like Japan no longer has the ability to kind of mess with this VP. We kind of took that off the board from them. So that, as far as the Allies kind of pushing things around, it's a little bit of what they were able to do there. Way up north, it's kind of a standstill. Neither one of us really have a force here that can dictate to the other one very well. So I would not anticipate much action up here. Just kind of trying to make sure, if we can, we'd love to take Helsinki away from the Soviets, but it's gonna be pretty hard to do so. We're kind of, they just, obviously their supply lines are way shorter than ours, so that's what that is. And the Atlantic Wall is pretty impregnable. Not entirely, but in Berlin, he's got a fortification across everything that's not Normandy. He's obviously got a pretty massive army still sitting in Aquitaine and Paris too on top of it. So that's a really good, one of the most impressive Atlantic walls I've ever seen as far as that goes. That thing is not gonna fall. So I guess that's it. I will see you all probably in a few days for Commonwealth 20, and we'll see what happens after that. So, and are there any questions you have? And everybody have a great day.